Well, I think we probably ought to go ahead and get started. Real quickly, my name is Sean Clethermos. I work for the Office of Admissions, and I'm going to serve as sort of the host and technical guy here tonight. But most of the time, you're going to be hearing from outstanding staff members from our Office of Residence Life, Housing, and Dining Services. A few notes before we begin. One, you should be able to send in your questions through our Q&A option. You won't be able to do so via chat, so make sure that you post your questions to the Q&A. You can start doing that at any time. Some of those questions will be answered in the Q&A itself, and some we will take on live and answer those questions for you in real time. This event is being recorded. We're going to be posting it to our Missouri State Admissions YouTube channel. Everyone who is attending here tonight will get a follow-up email in the next day or two that'll have a link to this post, so this video, so you'll be able to watch it again. We're going to do our best to answer as many questions as we can. It is possible we won't be able to get through all of those questions. If that's the case, never fear. You can always contact us afterwards. We're going to provide some contact information for you, and we'll make sure that you get all your questions answered at some point. Okay, so now that we've got that covered, I think it's time for me to hand this over to the real stars of our Q&A here tonight. And we'll start with Angela from Residence Life. Angela, would you like to go ahead and take it away?
Yes, I would love to. So hi, everyone. My name is Angie Strider. I'm our Assistant Director for Business Services here in Residence Life, Housing, and Dining Services. And so I'm going to take you through some information tonight that will hopefully be helpful and get you prepared for what you need to know about residence life and living on campus. I want to share with you, we do have a few moderators who will be posting links to your questions to make it easy to connect with you and answer your questions along the way. So do know that they're going to be answering lots of questions in addition to taking some of those questions live at the end. So know we're excited to do both parts of that. We also want to share with you that our office staff are here in the office. So know that we are back on campus. We have been for quite a while now. And so know that you can connect with us over the phone. We're also doing virtual appointments if you need assistance with completing paperwork. So just give us a call and we'll be happy to help you kind of figure out whatever details you need to there. If we do have some rising seniors on the call, know that the housing application usually opens at the end of October. So kind of keep that in mind as we walk through this, and we'll share that with you as we go. As far as timelines go. And do know also that unfortunately, I probably won't be able to answer a lot of personal questions during the Q&A time tonight, but we want to make sure that we help you get those questions answered. So do ask those questions. We'll respond either privately or we'll make sure that we get you an answer to those as well. So just know we are here to answer all your questions from start to finish. So we're going to go ahead and get started tonight. And I want to share with you and kind of kick it off, if you will, with our first poll. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you. So then that way you can see kind of what we're looking at here. And I have our kind of slide deck, if you will, ready to go. Let me see here if we can get this going. There we go. Wonderful. Okay. So I think that you might be seeing a different slide for me. Hang tight 1 second. Sorry about that. I do apologize. Let me just share that with you. I am sorry for the delay here. We're going to go ahead and jump right into our first poll, if you will. So Sean, if you want to go ahead and share the first poll, we want to kind of get an idea of who is with us here tonight so that we can find out who's with us and kind of see where things go.
Folks are responding very quickly. We've got the vast majority of folks responded already.
Wonderful.
Going to give it just a few more seconds. Looks like almost everyone has voted. Okay, we're going to end it here. And it looks like the majority of people that are here tonight are prospective students.
Okay, well, great. Well, we are glad to have you here with us. So we'll go ahead and close that poll and we'll go ahead and share with you kind of our slide deck tonight. So getting started, so I do apologize. I'm not sure if the slide is advancing there for me. There we go. I want to start by talking about our housing policy. So all students who are single students under the age of 21 years old who have earned fewer than 27 hours of transferable credit after high school graduation are required to live in university housing. And so know that those dual enrollment credit hours, don't count towards that 27 hours. So you do need to have those 27 hours earned after high school. So if you might be a transfer student or something, that might apply to you, but know that those dual enrollment hours don't count. I do want to share with you also at this time an exception to our housing policy. If you plan to live with a parent or a grandparent whose permanent full-time address is located within 45 miles of MSU, then you can request to live off campus. There is a form for that, and you would simply go to our website, residencelife.missouri.state.edu on the left-hand side, and you would request to live off campus before the semester begins and select the commuter exception form. So do know that that is an option for you if you live locally. We have a number of students who live in Springfield and the surrounding area that live on campus. There's a number of great benefits to living on campus, including being close to classes, making lifelong friends, honestly, great campus resources, leadership opportunities, great facilities, numerous staff to support you, really the opportunity to belong to a community. We do also have better retention, which I'll talk about in just a second. We have 15 great living learning communities, and we would encourage you to enjoy our nutritious, delicious food. Now, I mentioned student success a minute ago, and we provide an environment to really support students outside the classroom and their academics. This includes offering study spaces for students on campus, our computer labs, dedicated ResNet technology help desk for our students, and established quiet hours as well. So we have a number of different resources that really support that student success for our students who live on campus. And we also provide experiences to help enhance what our students are learning in the classroom, outside the classroom. Now, you can see from our statistics, we have over 15 years worth of data that shows students who live on campus outperform their peers and have consistently been doing so for more than 15 years with regards to their GPA. So, and that trend continues for not just freshmen, but sophomores, juniors, and seniors. And that's why, like Sean and myself, a number of students choose to continue to live on campus year after year. Our retention for students is great. You'll also see our retention of students from their first year to their second year is higher than that of living off campus, as well as graduation rate. So kind of any way you slice and dice student success, our students are more successful when they live with us on campus. And I think it's because we have so many of those resources to offer to students. Now let's jump right into that second poll, if we will, Sean. Wonderful. So this is about student type. We kind of want to know, are you an incoming freshman or are you an incoming transfer student?
Muted. Quick on the draw with this one, everybody. 20 seconds in and almost everybody has voted.
All right.
More moments.
We made the questions easy tonight, so.
Yeah, this is an easy one. All right. Almost everyone's an incoming freshman.
Wonderful. Well, it looks like we do have a few incoming transfer students. Know that we have a number of transfer students that live with us. And so just in a second, I'll talk about our living learning communities. I think after the poll might take just a second. There we go. Let's see. Wonderful. Those living learning communities include these 15 great communities. So we have both theme-based LLCs or living learning communities, as well as academic-based LLCs or living learning communities. So for example, if you're a business major, you might want to live in the Bears business community. That means that everyone else on the floor with you are also in a business major. So that way, you know, when those big tests come up, you know that your roommate, your suite mate, and the people down the hall are all going to be in the same situation studying for the same kind of test, that kind of thing. We also have thematic programs or thematic product communities, and that might include something like our Bears for Sustainability program. So our Bears for Sustainability group of students really look for that actionable change within being sustainable. For example, some activities that they like to do is go kayaking and clean up the riverways as they go. So lots of fun activities. It is a free opportunity. It is a wonderful opportunity to get engaged with those living learning communities. You'll notice for those transfer students, we had several on the call tonight, and we have a transfer community actually. We call it our transitions community because you might be new to Missouri State, but you're not necessarily new to the college experience. And so we recognize that, and we have entire floors set up to where you would be able to live with other students who are also transfer students. So know that we have 15 wonderful opportunities to choose from, and you would make those selections of your interests within the housing application. We encourage, once you get here to campus, to get involved, right? So we have a number of different ways to do so. Our Residence Hall Association, or RHA, is really the voice of the students who live on campus. They attend regional and national leadership conferences. They even offer a convenient linen program that you'll probably hear about if you're attending SOAR, or our orientation program. We also have hall councils, which is kind of like a student government, if you will, for each one of our residence halls. The students in that building plan social and educational events and activities, and they're really the voice of the building's residents. We also offer a number and a host of different student employment opportunities. In fact, Residence Life, we employ over 300 students a year just through our front desk workers and a number of different positions. So we hire over 100 student front desk workers, and that supplements those hours that our full-time desk workers, our desk staff work. We also hire students to work in our ResNet technology help desk. So I kind of mentioned or alluded to that earlier. That's really a computer help desk for our students who live in the residence halls. We have full-time professionals who work in that area to help your student if they get a virus on their computer, or maybe their graphics card isn't working and a student's trying to troubleshoot that and figure that out. But we also hire students to help. And it's a great way, especially for those students that might be in that major, to kind of help, kind of get a leg up, if you will, with that experience on their resume. We also hire student graphic designers because we have some really awesome t-shirts in Residence Life. And so we have someone who designs those t-shirts, and usually that's a student that helps us out. And we have a number of facilities assistants as well. So everything from like paint crew or moving crew, custodial crew, that kind of thing. We have a wonderful opportunity called the resident assistant position. Now you'll have a resident assistant who lives on the floor with you whenever you live on campus. This individual is a student just like you, and they're really there to serve as a resource for residents. And really assist with the transition and help plan fun events. But I can tell you from experience, I was a resident assistant, and it's also a great way to get involved, take a leadership position, and honestly, the rewards and benefits are also there with regards to free room and board and some other benefits of being a resident assistant on campus to kind of help offset that cost of college, kind of like student employment would. Now we have a number of staffing in the residence halls you'll want to know about. We have assistant hall directors. Our assistant hall directors are our graduate students. Those are the folks who are here in a master's program and the Student Affairs and Higher Education master's program. And they're here really to learn how to work with students and help you and hall councils and those student members really build those leadership skills along the way. So they're going to be there to help you. We also have full-time master's level hall directors that live in each one of our residence halls. Those hall directors are really responsible for the administration of the building, and they're a really great resource for residents. Now, a number of things to know that are kind of common to all of our residence halls. We have 24-hour front desks. Now, at the front desk, you're going to be able to get your mail, your packages, even check out things like pots and pans, because we have community kitchens in all of our buildings as well. We have 24-hour computer labs so that students can go down to the computer lab and, print an assignment, or they can even, hop on a Zoom call or whatever might be needed to finish up some homework assignments. We also have free laundry within all of our residence halls. All of our residence halls are tobacco free. They, of course, all have air conditioning these days. We offer within Residence Life here at Missouri State refrigerators and microwaves in all of our living units. So we provide those as a department. Students also experience Wi-Fi and a wired connection. We have what we call a port per pillow or an Ethernet port per pillow. So students can have that fastest wired connection in all their spaces, especially if you're kind of a gamer and want to hop on your PlayStation or something. And then we do have a community kitchen in each one of our buildings. All of our beds are 80-inch extra long twin beds. So if you're already getting a jump start on kind of your graduation wish list, if you will, note that we've got the extra long twin beds so that your family might be able to help you out with that in advance. We offer TV streaming for our students, and that does also come with an HBO Max subscription. So our students enjoy local channels, and we have over 80 HD channels. We also they get 20 hours of like DVR, like recording time. And then of course their subscription to HBO Max as well. So students enjoy plenty of streaming, and that works really anywhere on campus, in their room, on their tablet, computer, any device, their phone even. So we would encourage you not to watch that in class. So we also offer what we call an MSU home device, which means that you can bring your like Amazon Echoes and those kind of home devices that connect wirelessly, kind of like you would at home. So as far as the residence halls go, we want to share with you some information so that you can kind of start to get an inside look at some of our residence halls. We provide right now walking tours on campus. So if you are local, feel free to walk around campus. At each one of our residence halls, outside the residence hall, you're going to see these kind of designed images. And they also have a QR code that will link you right to our virtual tour. We also have virtual tours that you can take from the comfort of your home, regardless where you live. So we would encourage you to check out at least one traditional style residence hall and one suite style residence hall as you're kind of doing those virtual tours, just to kind of get a sense of the different facilities that we have to offer. And know that we have quite the variety. So feel free to check them all out, but we would encourage you to at least explore a few options. Next, we have some exciting news, and that we are getting a new residence hall this fall. So we are super excited and can't wait to open this new residence hall. A few details, you might be wondering, tell me more. There is a ton of information on our website. You can actually, we have several videos of the construction and kind of the progress of the construction. So you can kind of see like the flyover drone footage of this new residence hall and the construction. So it's kind of cool. But it's going to be very similar to Wood's house. They're going to be two-person room style with kind of the bathroom down the hall, that private, bathroom down the hall, if you will. And so that single user private bathroom style, if you will. So you can kind of get a sense of the room layout here, but we do have a ton more information on our website. So I would encourage you to kind of explore that new residence hall. Check it out. You might want to preference it on your housing application. Next, you're going to want to know about your meal plan choices, right? Because eating is important in the dining centers. I eat, my lunch every day in the dining center. So I want to share some information about that. With regards to our rates and things, one, our rates for housing and meals range from $43.13 to $57.23 per semester. And that's based on this year's rates, but just to kind of give you an idea of our housing and meal rates. Now you can find that specific information if you're looking for our specific room style information or something like that. You can find that on our rates page, which is just reslife.missouri-state.edu/rates. We have a number of different types of housing: suite style, room style, community style, all different kinds. So I would encourage you again to check it out. Now, with regards to your meal plan choices, you're going to want to know what your options are, right? We have a 10, a 14, a 19, and unlimited meals per week. Those are the meals you get to use in the dining center. So that's like swipes per week, if you will, in the dining center. And those essentially, you have that many each week to utilize, but they don't roll over from week to week. Then you also have dining dollars. So your dining dollars, you actually get some bonus dollars with each one of these options, and they're used in the retail locations like Chick-fil-A, Panda Express, Freddy's, Subway, Starbucks, Einstein Bagels, all kinds of options. So whenever you're filling out your housing application, you will select both a meals per week option as well as a dining dollars option. Okay, let's jump right into poll number 3. Sean?
All right, let's get started.
Okay, so when will you or your student be entering Missouri State? Are you coming this summer? Are you looking at this fall or 2022 or beyond? Just to kind of get a sense. Who's with us?
Again, folks are quick on the draw for this one. We'll give it just a second or two more. All right, let's end the poll. And it looks like the vast majority of folks are students from fall of 2021. So students finishing up their senior year, glad to see some folks here from the summer, and also maybe some juniors or other folks coming in 2022.
Wonderful. Well, let me just remind you of a few things then here. As we go to our next slide, I'll share with you some different timelines. So do know that you must be admitted before you're able to complete your housing application. So for those of you in the 2022 and beyond group, make sure that you get admitted so that you would have access to the housing application process when it opens for your time. Now, also know that the fall housing application is already open. So for those of you who are joining us this fall, that housing application you can already complete. And maybe some of you have, which would be wonderful. As far as though, I think we had a couple folks who did indicate they were coming for this summer. Also note that our summer housing application is also open right now, okay? So once again, our housing applications for summer and fall are open. And if you are coming for 2022 and beyond, if you will, just know that that typically opens again in October. Apologize for the delay on this slide deck here. Okay, so as far as how to apply, you might be wondering, how do I actually apply for housing? You keep talking about this, I'm excited to apply, how do I do it? You're gonna go to your mymissourystate.edu and you're gonna click on the Campus Life tab. Then under housing, you're going to see a link that says complete application. So do know that, there we go. Do know that that's kind of the link. So that's the third bullet point here if you're following along. Again, mymissourystate.edu, Campus Life Housing Complete Application, okay? Now, know that with our complete housing application, we're looking for the $100 housing deposit, a meningitis requirement met, and a parent co-signature on the terms and conditions if they're under 18 years of age old, okay? So if you're not 18 yet, do know that you might have to have a parent co-signature on our housing terms and conditions. Now, housing assignments are going to be emailed. Now, let me kind of give a preference to that. If you're coming for summer, you're probably going to get your housing assignment a little bit closer to the summer term. So summer term usually starts in early June. So you're probably going to hear about your summer housing assignment around May, if you will, kind of right before you start here in the summer. However, for those folks who are joining us for the fall, you're going to get your housing assignment emailed to you to your MSU email account the last day in May, based on when you completed your housing application. So that's where it comes into play that you really want to make sure that you're getting your housing application complete as soon as possible. Now, a couple things to note. The application summary can take a couple business days to update because that is updated by a person, a staff member in our office. Next, you might be wondering, how do I create a roommate group? Know that you can create a roommate group after both students have completed their housing contract. The order of assignment will be the average of the two students' application completion dates. So know that once you both complete your housing application, we're going to take an average of those dates, and that's kind of going to be the order and the queue in which you're going to receive your housing assignment. So do know that that encourages you and your roommate to kind of both complete those pieces. Now you might be wondering, what about a roommate? Maybe I don't have a roommate. You can check out our MSU new student community, which information would have been in your admissions packet about that. And you can check out that community. There's a section called Roommate Finder, where you might start to get to know other students that are also looking for roommates. But know that if you don't have a roommate in mind, we're going to ask in the housing application about 20 roommate matching questions. Now, through those 20 roommate matching questions, that's how we get to know you, and the computer knows how to match you, right? So that way we best match you with someone who answers those questions like you. So don't be afraid of a random roommate. Our housing software does a really great job of essentially matching students based on your building preferences and your LLC preferences and kind of all those pieces to your housing application. Now, once we send out housing assignments, you might be wondering, Can I ever change that housing assignment? What if I don't like my housing assignment? All good questions. So after assignments have been made, you can change your housing assignment online yourself through July 15th. So once you have your housing assignment, you can actually go in and you can see the rooms and the bed spaces that are open at that time. And you can select a different space. If you're like, oh my gosh, my best friend is now going to MSU and I want to live with them, you can go in and see if there's a space that maybe you might be able to get together or change your room assignment to another room up until July the 15th. Now, then you might be thinking, well, what if we get into the situation and me and my roommate just don't hit it off, right? That's a great question. So during the year, we also offer room changes. So know that you're not locked into that space if for some reason it just doesn't work out. Sometimes best friends aren't always the best roommates. So it really just kind of depends on what you're looking for. We would encourage you to ask those questions of your future roommate of things like, do you get up late? Do you stay up or do you stay up late? Do you get up early? Do you like a really clean and tidy room, or do you not mind a little mess here or there, right? And asking those questions in advance. So that'll help you kind of figure out who you want to room with if you're looking for your own roommate on your own. But again, know that if you don't have a roommate coming in, we are happy to assign you, no problem. So I want to kind of summarize all of our living on campus steps, if you will. So first, you're going to complete your housing application. The next step after that is to attend SOAR, move in, and then simply live like a bear, right? So I hope that has given you a little bit of insight to our housing application information, living on campus. And I know that you all have been asking lots of questions so far, and our team has been answering those questions. So I'm going to go ahead and have one of our staff members, Barbie, unmute herself and maybe throw me a few questions and see if we can't answer a few questions for you live. And I'll stop sharing my screen so that you can see me. All right.
Okay, so one of our first questions is, what are the established quiet hours in the residence halls?
Good question. So our quiet hours are essentially from 10 p.m. to 10 a.m., but our courtesy hours are 24 hours a day. So if there's ever a student who is excessively loud, we do have resident assistants that would be able to assist with that. So we don't want anybody to be a distraction to the community, especially during those times in which you might be sleeping or studying. So good question.
Our next question is, when do people typically find out who their roommate is and what housing option they received?
Yes. So students will receive, if you're, for example, coming this fall, you'll receive your housing assignment at the end of May if you have a completed housing application. But then I will tell you that we have students who continuously, complete those housing applications all summer long with us. And so we send out housing assignments, I should say, at the end of May, at the end of June, at the end of July. So we're just kind of continuously sending out those housing assignments as we go. That's when you're going to find out what building you were assigned to, what roommate you were assigned to, and be able to start to get to know your roommate from there. Typically with that process, you do get some contact information on your roommate or your suite mate so that you could reach out to them and start to coordinate, so that let's say in a Blair Shannon suite of six people don't all bring a TV, right? So that way you can kind of start to get to know your roommates and suite mates and kind of go from there.
Great. So our next question is about the new residence hall, and they want to know, how is it progressing and will it be open?
Yes. We are super excited about the new residence hall. We actually on our website do have some drone footage of the construction. I will tell you that our website doesn't even show how far along it is. In fact, our director took a tour, I think he said either earlier this week or last week, and shared with us that, he saw the flooring going down, painting happening in there. So you can really start to see some good progress over in the new residence hall. And so we're excited to open for this fall. So I would encourage you to check it out online for the details we have up, and then consider preferencing it in your housing application.
Okay. Do we only hire students who qualify for work study?
Oh, great question. So we hire over 300 student employees and students to help us operate our residence halls each year. And we do hire students who are on work study, but we also hire students who are just wanting to hire and like work for a paycheck. So you don't have to be on work study to work for Residence Life. Now, if you are on work study, we can hire you, but you don't have to be on work study for us to hire you. Great question.
All righty. Is there any way to find roommates without using Facebook?
That's a good question. So our MSU New Student Community is kind of a Facebook-like platform. So I can tell you that that is, it's not technically through Facebook, but it is a Facebook-like platform. It looks and feels a lot like it. So technically it's not Facebook, but it looks and feels like it. If you're looking for a roommate and you're trying to find someone to room with, but you're not wanting to, reach out in that way, I would encourage you to just consider maybe a random roommate. And when I say random, it's really not that random at all, because we're going to utilize those roommate matching questions to match you with someone who answered those questions most similarly to you. So the computer is going to essentially look at all those 20 questions and match you with someone who has who's answered those questions similarly. So you don't necessarily have to do the work yourself. You can simply let us do it. And then if you're like, you know what, I reached out to that roommate, but we didn't quite hit it off, you can always do a room change up until July the 15th if you choose.
Do the refrigerators have ice makers?
Oh, good question. So the refrigerators and the microwaves that are in the residential rooms, they are more like the cube size or mid-size refrigerators, but they don't have an ice maker in each one. So they're not like that. But we do have ice makers, and I think almost all of our residence halls. I think I can only think of our one apartment complex that doesn't have an ice maker. All of our other residence halls have ice makers, like the giant ones, kind of in the lobby area next to the vending machines. So if you're like, I like to keep ice on hand or whatever, you can just go right downstairs and you can grab as much ice as you need from our giant ice makers. But we don't have ice makers within the mid-size fridges that are typically in the residence hall rooms. Good question.
Do the desks in the rooms come with a desk chair, or do I need to provide my own?
Good question. So all of our residence halls do have desks that come with desk chairs. The only exception to that is Monroe Apartments. Now, I heard on one of those polls that we have a lot of incoming students. Now, we do have 2 apartment complexes on campus, Sun Villa and Monroe. Those are actually, you're only eligible for Sun Villa and Monroe Apartments your second year or beyond, or if you're over 21 years of age or older. So sometimes our second year students live in Monroe and Sun Villa, and I can tell you Monroe does not have desk chairs provided, but all of our other residence halls do come with the desk chairs provided. Great question.
Can you opt to not have a meal plan?
That's a good question. If you live in one of our traditional residence halls, a meal plan and dining dollars are both required. Now, of course, if you have an accommodation, let's say, you need an accommodation on file, we would encourage you to work with our Disability Resource Center, to work with them if you have special needs that you want to have them make an accommodation for. But otherwise, the meal plan and the dining dollars are required. And part of that reason is you don't necessarily have a full kitchen in your room, right? So it makes it very challenging to cook in your room. We do have those community kitchens in each one of the buildings. So if you're looking for a late night snack or brownies, it makes it real easy to go to the front desk, check out some pots and pans, go make your brownies, in a community kitchen. But we don't have those full kitchens in the room. So it just makes it very challenging to cook. And that's why we provide those meal plans, and they are required.
Will incoming freshmen be eligible to live in the new residence hall?
Absolutely. That's a great question. Incoming students and returning students are both going to be able to live in the new residence hall. So through our reapplication process, because we already have our students who currently live with us who are reapplying for next year, we have a number of students who have selected into the new residence hall, but we have plenty of space for our incoming students to live in the new residence hall as well. So we're excited that it's going to be a really great blend of incoming students and our returning students. In fact, we have 2 living learning communities that are going to be in the new residence hall, and that's going to be Bears Business and Bears Business Community. For those of you who are, the new residence hall is really close to Glass Hall, so that might just be a convenience factor you might consider as well. But also we're going to have a First Year Bears LLC or living learning community in the new residence hall as well. So we're definitely going to have first year students in the new residence hall. So go ahead and preference that building if that looks like an option you're interested in.
What weekend in August will students be moving in?
Ooh, that's a great question. I might have to double check my calendar. I believe that it is August, the weekend of like the 20th, 21st, 22nd, that weekend. Now know that we are actually going to be sending out probably additional information with regards to move-in with your housing assignments, because then once we know what building you're in, we can get you signed up for a time and a day to get moved in. But it's going to be kind of that opening weekend. No, we have a ton of welcome week and welcome weekend type activities and programs that are taking place. So as soon as you get that option to get signed up for a move-in date and time with your housing assignment in May, I would encourage you to sign up for a date and time so that you can get locked into a spot to get all moved in.
How affordable are our 1-person room options, and is that available to me as a freshman?
Great question. So we will have private room options available. Honestly, during COVID, there was a huge interest in private room options. And so we were able to offer the students who were interested in that private space. We will also be offering incoming students a private room option if they select it next year as well. Know that there is an additional cost for that. The additional cost is 1.5 times the rate of the room. So again, I'm going to send you back to our rates page, which is reslife.missouristate.edu/rates. And that also outlines the regular 2-person room rates, but also our private room rates so that you can get a sense of how much each room style costs if you were to select just a double room or the private room. And then in the housing application, that's where you would mark that you were interested in the private room, that you're wanting to pay for that private room, and then select which options you're interested in for private rooms, because we do have private rooms available in most all of our buildings. So yeah, great question.
Will my student be able to change their dining plan if they realize they perhaps didn't select the right one?
That's a great question too. So when you actually get your meal plan and everything, you're going to select it in your housing application. But once you get here, you have the first 3 weeks of school to lower your meal plan. And you can increase your meal plan at any time. So if you're finding that, that 14 meal plan is not enough for you, you can increase it through the semester. And if you're finding that, maybe unlimited is too much for me, you can decrease it the first 3 weeks of school. Now you might be wondering, well, how do I monitor my own meals? You can actually do all of that through your My Missouri State account. So you're going to get a My Missouri State account. It's the same place that you're going to fill out your housing application. There is a link that's called Bear Pass Card Management System. And when you click on it, you can see how many times you're eating in the dining center each week so that you can make an informed decision before that deadline. And we usually send out an email reminder like, hey, last chance to lower your meal plan just before that deadline as well. So that'll hopefully kind of trigger an opportunity for you to change your meal plan at that point if you need to.
If I update my application, will it change my priority date?
Great question. If you have a completed housing application and you go in today after hearing some of the information and you want to change maybe the order in which you selected the residence halls as your building preferences, that will not change your application completion date. Once you have an application completion date, it's locked in.
Do you have to stick with the roommate you're assigned, or can you pick another?
Great question. So again, once you receive your housing assignment, you're going to be assigned to a building, a room, and then at that point in time, you'll usually know your roommate and or suite mates if you have them. If you're like, I'm not interested in living with this roommate anymore, that's okay. You have up until July 15th to go in and change yourself to a different room. And so you can kind of change yourself within the system. Some students liken it to like buying concert tickets because you'll be able to like see the rooms in green, the bed spaces in green that are open, and you can kind of go in and see who else is in that room. And then you can decide, do you want to select into that room or another one? And you can just kind of move yourself about the system through July 15th. Then we kind of put a pause on things. We ask all the students just to get moved in so that everyone can kind of get settled. And then usually a few weeks into the school year, we open room changes again. So if you're like, I've tried it, I lived with this person for 3 weeks, it's not quite working out, we just don't mesh, that's okay. We also have that room change process. It opens during the semester and typically stays open most of the semester. And then again in the spring as well. So there's I would say lots of opportunities that if you find things have changed, it's just not working out for whatever reason, that you'll have the opportunity to change your assignment or make a room change.
Is a rice cooker allowed specifically in the apartments?
Ooh, that is a good question. So the only appliances that we really allow on campus in our residence halls are going to be the auto shut off coffee pot, auto shut off tea kettle, and air popped popcorn maker, or a blender. So we don't allow like the rice cookers or crock pots or anything like that within our residential facilities. Now, we do have options for students to do a little bit like heavy duty cooking, if you will, in our building community kitchens, because that's where we have like fire extinguishers and kind of everything, all those fire safety protocols in place. So we do have some more options there. But as far as cooking within your residential room, we don't really allow cooking in the room like that.
Do we need to meet with an advisor before we sign up for housing?
Oh, question. So most of you are either going to go through the SOAR or the STAR orientation type program. So that's either, that's essentially like your orientation and registration process. And during that process, that's when you meet with an academic advisor that you'll actually sign up for all your classes. Now, our SOAR sessions for, let's say, our fall students are gonna be taking place this summer. They start in kind of early June and run through the end of July. So that's when a student would meet with their advisor. Now, we would encourage you to have your housing application complete before you get here for SOAR, or you won't be able to register. So you will get hung up if you don't have that housing application complete. So we would actually encourage you to do housing first, and then you would meet with your academic advisor when you come to campus for orientation.
Couple questions about the dining halls.
Okay.
What if I have special dietary needs? Do I need to figure it out myself, or does the dining hall provide services for that?
Great question. So our dining center is very familiar with students who might have different allergies, dining needs, different diets even, they're very familiar. They even posted some videos about like kind of how to eat keto in the dining center, So they have lots of different options for students. I can tell you, I have learned a lot from our dining center partners over the years. So for example, in Garst, where they have like the purple handles, that means it's gluten-free. And I just learned that a few years ago. I will tell you that the options that they offer for students are very seamlessly integrated into the dining center, and you might not even notice if you don't know about it. So I would encourage you, if you're worried or concerned, about any allergies or certain diets that you're just trying to eat, maybe high in protein or gluten-free or whatever the case might be, I would encourage you to talk with someone in the dining centers when you get here. They're going to be able to show you around, because we have, let's say, like we call it like a My Pantry refrigerator, and it always has like hard-boiled eggs in there and cottage cheese and all kinds of different products. But we even in the dining centers have an almond milk dispenser with like almond milk and chocolate almond milk and all kinds of options, but sometimes you might have to seek those out, right, to be looking for it. Or like I said, with the purple handles, they're the gluten-free. You wouldn't even notice that if you didn't ask. So I would encourage you, if there's something that you're trying to avoid or that you're looking for, ask in the dining centers and they can provide it for you. So they've been really great. They even taught me about red dye number 7. So I've learned all kinds of things from our dining center partners with regards to different accommodations and dietary needs and just diets in general that our students follow. And they're able to meet those needs. And so I would just encourage you to check out, talk to someone when you get here about that. But we definitely have options for students, kind of regardless what their needs might be.
Then do dining halls have different food each day?
Oh, yes. So our dining centers, we're going to have 3 dining centers open this fall: Garst, Blair Shannon, and also at our new residence hall. So we're excited about that. But each residence hall serves different meals, different like menus, I should say, at each meal, at each different dining center. So like you can look online even today if you're like, well, I'm just curious, you can go online and see what kinds of meals they're serving, for example, but you're going to see a different meal option at every dining center and at every different meal time. And our dining centers are open from 7, and like we even have facilities open at like 11 o'clock at night for sometimes people call it 4th meal. Anyways, like that 9 to 11 time frame. So there's plenty of options to eat for sure. And then of course our retail options are open pretty late as well. And so we have lots of different dining options, if you will, for our students. And yeah, I think you'll definitely find something for you, if you will. But there is lots of variety. So like, for example, I went in today and there was enchiladas on the main line. There was chicken on what I like to call the healthy line. Usually there's a few more like vegetables and things. Sometimes they do tofu. And then I grabbed a salad with some pasta salad and potato salad. But they always serve hamburgers, hot dogs, French fries, pizza, pasta, in addition to kind of that rotating main items, if you will. So lots of options to choose from. Like I said, I've been eating in the dining center. I eat lunch every day in the dining center and have for years. And I always find that there's really good variety.
How do dining dollars work? Are they per month, per week? And do they carry over if they're not used?
Great question. Okay, so you're going to get, let's say you choose a $165 dining dollar option, right? You're going to get those dining dollars loaded onto your Bear Pass ID card. You use those at the retail locations, like I said, at Chick-fil-A, Panda, Freddy's, Subway, Starbucks, Einstein's, Outtakes. They've got all kinds of options. So that's where you use your dining dollars. So you'll be able to utilize those throughout the first semester. Then the second semester, you're going to get a reload of the same amount of dining dollars as you did in the fall. So you get, let's say, $165 in the fall, you get $165 in the spring. Now keep in mind, you're going to get those bonus dollars too. And then you'll have that to utilize throughout the year. Keep in mind this though, your dining dollars will roll over from fall to spring, but they don't roll over past the spring semester. So, and we also had a couple students, I think, who were going to be with us for summer too. So I want to point this out for summer students. If you get dining dollars this summer, those will actually roll over from summer to fall to spring. But then in spring, they do go away. So you got to use them by graduation in May, essentially. So that's kind of how they work. But honestly, our students don't usually have trouble spending the dining dollars. So even myself, I find it pretty easy to spend those dining dollars. Chick-fil-A is pretty tasty. So,
what type of security is in place in the residence halls?
Okay. We have a number of different security features. So in all of our residence halls, you're going to get an access card, and that access card is going to let you into the residence halls, and it's only going to let you into the residence hall in which you're assigned or that you live in. Now we also, that access card, let's say in like Freddie, is only going to let you and your other floor mates onto your floor or into your floor bathroom. So do know that our access cards essentially are very specific to your room and where you live, and will let you into only your building and your floor and your bathroom, if you will. So we do have our access card system in place. We also have deadbolts on all of our doors within our Residence Life system. We have peepholes in all of our doors, and those deadbolts and peepholes. We encourage students to lock their doors, of course. And then we do have some folks will ask about cameras. We do have some cameras throughout campus and a few within our common spaces within Residence Life, but we don't have really any cameras, like they're not everywhere. So they're not everywhere, but we do have some cameras on campus and within our residence halls. Mm-hmm.
Are a refrigerator and microwave included in my residence hall room?
Yes, they are. So we are going to provide a refrigerator and a microwave in every living unit. Now, sometimes, for example, in Blair Shannon, it's a 6-person suite with 3 bedrooms. And there's actually a little kind of cube refrigerator in each one of the bedrooms. And then there's a mid-size refrigerator in the suite area. So some of our spaces on campus actually have a little more refrigerator space. And so you can check that out on our virtual tour. All of our video tours kind of cover what comes in each one of those rooms. Also note, if you're kind of curious, we might have some folks who are like, well, tell me more about the dimensions of the room and how much space might be, between the floor and the bed so that I know how big of a cubby to buy for my shoes or something like that. Know that we have done the work for you and we have measured all of those dimensions, and you can find those on each one of our Residence Life pages for each building. So once you get your housing assignment, we would encourage you to hop onto the page again, refresh your memory about all the dimensions of the room that you'll be living in. And we have measured all of those things for you. So we've got you covered there.
Do we need to provide our own mattress?
Great question. We actually say don't bring your own mattress. We provide your mattress for you. We have kind of a rotation of putting in new mattresses within our system. And so we have a really great, our mattresses, in my opinion, are pretty firm. And so we offer, we have the mattresses. Keep in mind, they are the 80-inch extra long twin size bed. So if you're looking for sheets or that's on your graduation to buy list, do know that they're 80-inch extra long twin size beds. But we provide the mattresses.
How much clothing storage do I have in a residence hall room?
It's a good question. It kind of varies a little bit between different room styles. So for example, in Blair Shannon, you have built-in armoire or closet system, and you have kind of floor to ceiling, closet space, if you will. In other buildings, you might have kind of an open space to hang your clothes, and then have some drawers, for you to put your shoes or your foldable clothing items and that kind of stuff. So it kind of varies in each residence hall to a small degree, but I would say a lot of our students will typically bring a season's worth of clothes. So for example, in August, they're going to have kind of their summer to fall type wardrobe, if you will. And then whenever, things start to shift around winter time, then that's when they usually, start bringing some more of their winter clothes and maybe pack away some of their summer items. So sometimes students put that stuff under their bed. Sometimes they take it home, just kind of depends. But you should be able to see the dimensions of the closets and the closet spaces, if you will, your clothing hanging spaces and your drawer systems and things like that for each building. Again, on our Res Life website, if you were to look under room dimensions. Great question.
What types of bathrooms will the new residence hall have?
Great. Yes. Okay. So on our campus, we have several different types of bathrooms. We have, let's say in Wells and Freddie, we have community bathrooms where you go down the hall, you open the door, and there are, let's say, 5 or 6 toilet stalls and 5 or 6 shower stalls, that kind of thing, right? All privately, kind of enclosed. You have your own little, door and everything. But that's kind of what we call our community bathroom style. Then we have suite style bathrooms in which you have a bathroom located in your own room or suite. So you might have 2 rooms that share a little suite area, and the bathroom is right there in your own suite. suite. Then we also have what's called single user private bathrooms. So what I mean by that is, for example, in Woods and also the new residence hall, you'll go down the hall and there'll be essentially a bank of bathrooms. You'll walk into the door and you'll see, let's say, 5 doors. Behind each one of those 5 doors or 6 doors or however many there are in that area of the floor, behind each one is a full lockable door, and then you've got a shower, sink, and toilet behind it. So that's where you have kind of that privacy, kind of like at home, but we call them the single user private bathroom. So you might have to go down the hall, but you do have that privacy of the shower, sink, and toilet all in one space behind a full lockable door. That's what's going to be in the new residence hall, is a single user private bathrooms. Great question.
All righty. Do all of the residence halls have beds that can be lofted?
Ooh, good question. So we actually only have the junior lofted beds in Woods House, and we call them junior lofts because you can kind of set the mattress frame, if you will, at any height. Between, I think it's like 36 inches high and I think 56 inches high. So you can kind of move that bed frame to give you more space underneath if you were looking to put, let's say, a desk underneath. I think on our website and also in the video, I think we have kind of examples of the junior lofts and Woods where one is kind of set up high and one is kind of set down low. So you can kind of get a sense of the options there, if you will. But in all of our other residence halls, the beds are actually bunkable. So you can go ahead and just bunk those beds. And we have the bunking pins at the front desk for all of our other residence halls. So you at least have the option to bunk, but in Woods House, you do have those junior lofts where you kind of have some flexibility where you can kind of put it up high and then put, your desk underneath if you wanted, that kind of thing. So that's also shown in our video tours. Good questions.
All right, and I think we have time for about one more.
Okay.
So going back to single user private bathrooms, someone has asked, who cleans those?
Oh, yeah. Our custodial team does. So our custodial team cleans, like the first style bathroom I talked about was a community style. That's in Freddie and Wells. Our custodial team cleans those. And then our custodial team also cleans the single user private bathrooms. They also stock the supply of toilet paper. So if you're not looking to buy toilet paper, those are the buildings you might check out. Now, you might be wondering who cleans the bathrooms in the suite style buildings. That's up to the students in the suite. So if you're in a suite style building, you do clean your own bathroom and you provide your own toilet paper. So that is very true. Yep, good question. But our custodial team will take care of those single user private bathrooms. We will clean those for you, no problem. Yeah, every day.
All right, and I think we are wrapping up. There are a couple questions about how to access Roommate Finder.
Okay, so the information about the MSU new student community is going to be listed in your admissions information. So when you were admitted, you would have probably received kind of a packet of information. And in that would have listed information about the MSU new student community, as well as our campus housing guide with all the information about our residence halls and kind of a booklet style in there. So check that out for how to get connected. And if you have any questions, you can always reach out to either us or admissions. And admissions can easily help you get, connected with that MSU new student community. And then again, within that, there is a little link that says Room Finder, Roommate Finder. And then that's where you'll see other students who are posting about looking for roommates.
That's true. If you have any difficulties locating that information, please feel free to reach out to the Office of Admissions. Our email address is admissions@missouri-state.edu, and we monitor that daily. We can easily help you find that if you have trouble locating it.
All right. Well, thanks, Barbie, for collecting all those great questions. We really appreciate everybody's time tonight. And I'm going to throw it back to Sean to kind of finish this out. So thank you.
Thanks again, everybody, for joining us tonight. I want to express my appreciation to the outstanding staff from the Office of Residence Life Housing and Dining Services. What a tremendous amount of good information you all shared tonight. Thanks for answering so many questions from our students. I think it was 115 questions were answered tonight. That's pretty impressive given the fact that we're only here an hour, so that's not too bad at all. So again, thank you all for joining us. Again, we are going to be posting this video to YouTube, to the Missouri State Admissions YouTube channel. Everybody who attended here tonight will get a follow-up email that will give you a link, excuse me, to the video. Likewise, you could just follow that channel in general and you'll see it posted here in the next day or two. If you have any questions, again, please don't hesitate to email us or call us. We're happy to assist you. I believe the address is residencelife@missouristate.edu for Res Life, and for admissions, again, admissions@missouristate.edu. With that said, we want to thank you again for joining us, and we hope you all have a great evening. Stay tuned for additional webinars from the Office of Admissions. We'll be sharing lots of additional information on other subjects as we get closer to the start of the fall semester.